Welcome to Diary of an Ex-Ho. I'm Cheri Hardman. I'm your ex-ho, and today's guest is Bruce Detore. So, sit back, relax, enjoy the episode, and remember the old saying, always a bridesmaid when you're a hoe.
My name is Bruce Detore. I'm born and raised in West Seattle. I'm a single, straight, 47-year-old male. I am about as single as it gets. So, by all means.
All right. Good to
What
have
did I
you.
miss?
What?
Did I miss anything? Oh, my pronouns. Oh yeah, all the male ones.
Okay. All right. When it comes to sex, would you rather? Oh, no, we're not there yet. We're going to play a game of Marry, Shag, Kill first. Duh.
Oh,
So hang on. Let me go get it.
Mary Shag. I like how we went British.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't want to have swearing, especially in the first 10 minutes of this.
Gotcha.
So,
Do I need to kind of watch that or?
no,
Okay.
not at all. But it's just it's on print. I don't want it to get flagged. So, but I've had no trouble with whatever we say. So,
Okay.
marry, shag, kill. You have to marry one. You get to shag one. You have to kill one. I try to like orient to the person. Um, but like I don't know that much about you. So the first thing I looked for was women who like to date bald men, like celebrities. But all I could find was articles about women who have shaved their head. So we're going with that. So let's
Okay.
give them to you. These are women that have all shaved their head at some point. Kristen Stewart, Charlize Theron, Kate Hudson. Who are you going to marry? Who are you going to shag? Who are you going to kill?
I probably would probably marry Kate Hudson, shag Charlize Theron, and kill Kristen Stewart.
All right. Bye, Kristen. Ooh. All right. That was easy. Okay. Now, when it comes to sex, would you rather watch or be watched?
That's a good question. I'd probably rather watch. Just more or less because the only time I've ever been like in the middle of getting a blowjob or something like that, and somebody like walked in the hallway, like Mr. Peepers just took a bow. I was like, nope. So even though I might be uncomfortable watching other people or jealous, like at least I wouldn't worry about whether my dick was hard.
Right. That makes sense. Okay. When you were a kid, what did your parents or whoever raised you, what did they call private parts?
I don't know if I remember talking a whole lot. Probably just like pee pee. You know,
Okay. All right.
my my family wasn't very open about it. So.
Okay. Were your parents like married when you were young?
They still are married.
Okay.
But they like it was. I would say it was probably not the best of relationships. Which if they'll never see this, so they won't care. But if they heard I was saying anything about it, they'd probably be upset.
Right.
Yeah.
So you don't think so I mean, you don't think they were good role models for how to have a relationship or
Uh, Absolutely not. Yeah, it's an unfortunate truth. I had a conversation with my brother probably maybe a couple years ago, and he brought something up to me. I thought he was like, and I never really thought about it at the time because your parents are your parents. That's who you
right.
just it's normal to you.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't look back and remember my parents ever really being affectionate to each other. You know,
Mm,
yeah,
right.
like they didn't kiss. Like you see sitcoms where like the dad's like smacking the mom in the ass or something like that, or giving a kiss or whatever happened. None of that ever happened. Like I never heard my parents banging in the other room or anything like that. So yeah, I
All
think
right.
they
So
uh, I'll just say that more than anything, I think they stuck together for the kids.
right. So do you find that when you are in relationships, is it hard for you to show affection because you didn't see it or no?
I think for me, I probably show too much. And I've always been a very opposite person. I when like my brother was really a hoodlum and caused a lot of problems when he was younger. So I went the opposite direction. Like I didn't use that as an example to follow. And I also think with like the way my parents were, I think I've always been looking for something, and so when I have it in front of me, um, I tend to overindulge, and I think that can actually push some people away.
Right. Yeah. All right. So, can you tell me about what I call your sexual awakening, which could be just when you notice changes in your body, or maybe one of your friends told you about sex, or something you observed. Can you just kind of tell me about that? Like when you realize, oh, there's a thing out there that's sex.
Probably if I go back far, the farthest I can go back is like talking about it on the school bus. And I mean, probably I went to public school too, so it was like I don't know if it was second, third, fourth grade, but I know we talked about it a lot. Making all the jokes like the Johnny Fucker Faster kind of jokes and stuff like that. I wouldn't even necessarily say at that age I completely understood the mechanics, but I knew the difference between what men have and what women have and so forth, and that one goes into the other. Um, so there's that, and then probably fifth and sixth grade we had sex ed, which I would say I knew most of it by then as far as the mechanics were concerned. And then I didn't actually end up having sex until I was 18, which was way later than I wanted. um, but yeah, I mean, just I honestly would attribute most of my early knowledge of sex to public school.
Right. Yeah. I remember having that conversation with my friends, like, well, we have three kids in our family, so our parents did it three times. Yeah.
Oddly enough, yeah, I don't remember ever talking a whole lot about what my parents did, and that might go back to what I said earlier. It wasn't something I came across a whole lot. I know when I did finally have a girlfriend and I was still living at home, like it was definitely something I wasn't comfortable talking to my parents about. Like
Hmm.
always, trying to bang her as quietly as I could in the other room. You
Hmm.
know? Um, but yeah, no, not a lot.
Did,
Yeah,
did you have any celebrity crushes when you were growing up?
I can't think of any particular growing up, but I mean, I definitely, obviously an attractive celebrity. Even now, I see celebrities like, that I run across. I'm like, oh man, if I could, oh, could I imagine waking up next to a face like that or something like that? So
Hmm.
yeah, no, nothing. That's
Okay,
kind of boring. Sorry.
that's okay. Can you think of any mainstream movies that you watched that you thought like, oh, that was a really hot scene or anything like
The farthest one I think it was Lethal Weapon 2 or 3. Is two where I think it has to be two because it's the South African connection, and there's that blonde lady where Mel Gibson's like banging her in his trailer, and like she turns over and you get to see her tits for the first, and it's like, oh, like I remember pulling the video out like back in the old VHS days
that?
and hunting that scene and like pausing it and like trying to make it slow and then like like going back and forth. We didn't have the internet back then, children.
Right.
It was it was Lethal Weapon 2 and National Geographic. That's what we did.
Yep. Um, you ever watch? Do you ever do you watch porn?
Oh yeah, it's part of my morning ritual at this point. Well, I should say it's part of my new 11 to noon ritual at this point.
So, what's your go-to category that you're willing to admit to?
I had a feeling that would come up, and I think my tastes vary. Like sometimes, like sometimes, as far as what demographic of woman I look at, big boobs, small boobs. It's kind of like, am I watching some girl get plowed in the ass this time, or am I watching like seven guys like go to town on somebody? So like, I honestly kind of rotate the tap around. I'm I if I were to look at, to really think about what elements always have to be there is, yeah, I'm a boob man, so whether they're big or small, there has to be some nipples showing at
Hmm.
some point. That's probably where, but I'm pretty diverse in what I go to. So, and sometimes you open the window and you just kind of scan the first the first couple offerings. You're like, that looks good. I'll check that one out.
Right. Yeah.
And then that leads you down the rabbit hole of click this one, and then well, what else is recommended under that? So I'm sure the FBI is really interested in what I'm doing.
Do you think that watching porn has affected your life in any way, or how you look at women or relationships?
I wonder sometimes if it has given me an unrealistic ideal. Um, Boy, these are the kind of things you're afraid to say on a comedy stage. But generally the women in porn are in better shape and more attractive and than the women in the general public, even though they got more makeup on than the lady at the counter. The other part on my end is also, like I to this day in my life, I have seen men with smaller penises than me, and I still have like a mental block. Like I can't for the life of me fathom anybody out there having a smaller dick than me. And I think porn has something to do with it, along with there's always women out there. It doesn't matter how deep you're hitting them. Like when they get pissed off at you, they'll tell you that you don't have a big enough dick. So and
Right.
that happened pretty early on in my sexual life, and it's affected me pretty
Mm,
badly.
yeah,
You know?
I would imagine. Um, I think about that a lot, not about dicks, but I think about uh, people saying stuff that you can't take back. And
Yeah.
it's always been my goal in a relationship. And no matter how mad I am, I will never say anything that I know will hurt you so much that I can never take it back.
Yeah, I can't for the life of me ever imagine telling one of my exes when I was with them that, oh my God, you've got a humongous twat. Like I can like,
Right.
oh my God, I can totally just flip this thing back and forth. I've never done, but I've had women who will grab a hold of something and literally be like, oh, I need to get a dick this big. And I'm like, I'm sitting right here.
Right.
And the first person that told me that, like I didn't really worry, I never worried about it that much. I think I was 26 or 27 when somebody told me that, and she's the one that if the CIA came and pulled me aside and said, you get to kill one person, you just can't like she's the one I'd go find. But she wrecked me, and it was just something simple like that. And then every now and then, I don't know about you personally, but most of the women I've been with, at some point or another, they will let you know that they've had a bigger dick than you, even if they're subtle about it. It's like whether you're getting down to it and it's like, oh, I don't want a guy bigger than you because that shit hurts. Or I've been with guys, they always make sure to they get it in there somewhere, just so you know. I don't know if it's a way to keep you humble, but yeah, ladies, stop doing that. Like we know, we all know.
Um, what is your definition of amazing sex?
That's also something I think about. Over the years. Like I've had like just rip rocking orgasms that like surprise me. And then I've also had relationships where maybe it wasn't like hanging off the chandeliers tied up in like multiple positions, but it was like to put it like it's plentiful, it's always available, and there's never any guilt involved. Um, and I'd say if I could choose one or the other, I'd choose the latter. My favorite relationship was one where like it wasn't insane, and I had to be careful with her because she was smaller in that particular area. But at the same time, and I'm not big, although I should lie about it for anybody watching. But there was never any guilt attached. Like I've been with a lot of women who, not a lot. I've been with a number of women who, the fact that you want them, eventually they get angry about it. It's like, oh, all you ever want from me is sex. All you ever want to do is fuck me. And like, I was like, well, if I didn't want to fuck you, it would just be an expensive friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was with somebody who never said no, and in fact would tell me once in a while, I was like, we could do this more often. Like, oh, wait, what? That I think that was probably what I would refer to the best sex is when there's no guilt involved. You both enjoy it. You both get to where you're going, and there's communication also. This is a big one for me. It's like I'll tell somebody if I'm not doing something you want to do, or if I'm doing something that bothers you, talk to me about it because I'm not going to know any better. I want to get you off just as much as you want to get me off.
Right.
So I think as I've gotten older, that's definitely more important. And I've had times, where you just pound the shit out of each other, and it's kind of fun to be in
Right.
physical shape to do that, but yeah, that's probably the best for me.
Okay. All right. So now we're going to go spin the wheel of dirty questions. So let me get that. It keeps just doing the same 3 questions. So I'm hoping we get a different one this time.
Okay.
When was the last time you had sex?
This is the one question I don't like asking, but because it's you, and in all honesty, maybe I'll get some charity out of it. It was, I believe, it was pre-pandemic. It was, I think it was December of 2018.
All right. So, ladies, hook a guy up.
Yeah, somebody out there, fuck me, Jesus Christ! It's like I don't even know if shit works anymore. No, thank God for porn.
All right.
There,
Well,
that's the most embarrassing answer ever.
we can cut it out if you want to do a different one. You're good.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Now they'll know when I joke about it on stage. It's true.
That is true. Okay. How's your body image?
Terrible. Um, I've fluctuated my weight a lot, up and down over the last several decades. I was always a fat kid, and that influenced me. I think in my mid 20s, I lost weight, and at that time, I think I was 26, the only time I've ever taken my shirt off at the beach. And as long as I didn't have my belt on, like my love handles didn't like cascade over the side of my jeans. But I yo-yoed so much, and even though I've lost a bunch of weight in the last couple of years, it's now I have loose skin, and I've also got a really nasty scar, from about here to here. So that I don't think about it too much, but there's not like it's not very often I'm in like a public hot tub or anything like that. But it's always, I would love, I would love to be fit and have a six pack and abs and be sexy and all that. And I work out every day but Sunday, one way or another, and it's never going to happen, and that's very frustrating for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that. What's the best compliment you've ever gotten on your naked body?
I've had a few people, say you got a great cock or something like that, and that's always it's almost like where I giggle a little bit. It's like because part of me, because my own issues, I don't believe it. I feel like they're just giving me lip service, to make a pun. But and then I have been once or twice where I was with somebody, and they're like, "Oh, you're so much bigger than my boyfriend," which one was a shock because I didn't know they were dating anybody. So it's like the left brain, right brain. Like my math brain knows I'm not terrible, but my heart brain still has all those girls who have said horrible things to me. But yeah, like saying something like that, or when I'm with somebody and they're like, "Oh, I love it when you're about to come and the veins start popping out of your shoulders," or something like that. So I was like, any compliment is good.
Right. Do you have any sexual regrets?
Yes. And I think about it, it's the number of women. It's maybe a bipolar regret. It's that how many women have I been with? Well, not as many as I wanted, and more than I'm proud of. Um, I've had a few occasions where I've been in a position where, and men feel this too, where I felt obligated, and I didn't necessarily want to. I've also had somebody get me buying me shots once that I ended up in bed with, and that was kind of rough. And then there's also probably stuff like, when I was young and I was 19, I was dating a 17-year-old, and when we were little, and I feel like maybe I don't want to say I forced her, but I probably pressured her into having sex earlier than she wanted to. She's the only virgin I was ever with. And I kind of look back and I regret that. And very few of the people I've been with, were the ones where I broke their heart. But whenever I broke somebody's heart, I definitely regretted it.
Mm-hmm. You have anything left on your sexual bucket list?
There's things I would have liked to have done, but I don't know if I like, I think 2 or 3 times I was close to having a three-way. like that time I was in bed with two girls, but we've been drinking so much I had to go to the bathroom, and then when I came back, they were both asleep, which which is kind of dumb luck. But at the same time, like now, like I don't, I'm 47. I don't know if I'm sexually competent enough to disappoint two women in a night. So that would be cool. And then really, there's always a little, boy, the bald white guy saying this is going to be terrible, but there's certain flavors of women I've never been with that I'd still like to say that I was. Um, like I've never been with an Asian woman, and they're beautiful. I've never been with a black woman, and I've seen plenty of beautiful black women and stuff like that. Just and I don't really care. Like if I find myself in a relationship, I don't really care
Right.
who you are, where you came from, as long as you're a good person. But there's definitely it's like having the same bowl of cereal every day. Like I would have liked to have tried some Fruit Loops at one point or some, whatever.
Right. What's your hoe song?
What's my
Your hoe song, a song that when you hear it kind of wakes up your hoe spirit, makes you want to get.
God, my house song? That's something I've never thought of, and I'm a musician. um, Man, I don't know, probably be something like Sexual Healing or some of the old R&B stuff where it's
Mhm.
a little bit more the feeling moves you, let me groove you kind of stuff.
Right. What
That's
is your
probably
in? Go ahead.
okay. No, go ahead.
What's your Instagram?
Oh, at Bruce Detore, BruceDetore. So if you mistake it for a road sign, I have no idea what you'll get.
Okay. Um, this episode's going to come out like July 17th. So do you have anything around or after that time you want to promote?
Oh boy, July. I think the one thing I had in August got canceled. I know I'm gonna be in Pasco at the Red Lion on August 8th. And in July, I think, God, if I have anything in July, I actually think it's before that. So
Okay. Well, and people can check your Instagram too.
yeah,
Um,
follow me on Instagram on Facebook at Bruce Tour Comedy, or come to a show,
yeah.
or book me
Right.
for a show.
Yeah.
Book me for a show anywhere in the greater
I know
Pacific
my
Northwest.
my bookings are pretty sparse right now. I don't know what's going on. I've
Yeah,
heard a
we'll
lot of
probably
people
happen with
say
our
that.
folks.
It's because the same five people are getting hired over and over again. But let's not get into that. So,
Wrong,
did
different podcast.
I did I warn you about this that I was going to ask you to tell me a story at the end?
No, but I mean, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
All right. So we're now to the point, and if you have to think for a while, I can edit that out because I'm the dumb one that forgot to say it. But uh, I just want to hear a story that has to do with sex. Can be funny, embarrassing, touching. I don't care. Just tell me something.
I can tell a few. Let's see. What is funny? What funny stories I've had? Like, I when I think of the most I ever laughed was God, it was just over there. I was dating somebody, and we were just good old, and it was missionary too. So really, if you think about it, it's kind of boring. But I'm going to town on her, and she had a big old pair, and I don't know what it was, but we locked eyes, and both of us just started laughing hysterically. Um, it was just one of those weird moments.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was kind of something as far as laughter is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Um, after she ended up leaving me for another guy that she said looked exactly like me. By the way, fuck you. Um, I was dating somebody, and I just met her, and she told me that one of the things she liked was to be tied up. And so I was, gonna have a date with her later. So I ended up going down to the True Value, like trying to figure out what the hell kind of rope to buy. So went down to the True Value a couple miles away, got something like that silk rope, and then I didn't know how to tie it. So I just like I on each side of my bed, I made like little nooses, so I could like stick her
Oh.
hands in it and tie her up. And she liked it. We used it several times. In fact, they're still there. Like I've never used them since we broke up, and that was like probably 11 years ago. And what else? Gosh, what else? I feel like if it's a story, it should be like a long, drawn out story. I don't know if I have any long, drawn
Oh,
out story.
that's good. That's good. We're good. All right. Yeah. Thank you for being on. You were a lot of fun. We'll edit that out and make us both look a little bit more charming. And
And it a little bit helps.
yeah. All right. Thanks very much. I'll see you soon, I'm sure.
All right,
All right.
Cheri. I'll see you out there.
Bye.
Bye, internet.